All right, so this is an attempt to revive this channel, but also I think it's a good compromise between super long form content like a podcast and what's meant to be a little bit more shorter form content like a social media post. So this is going to be a happy balance. I'm going to try and only do about 5 to 7 minutes on these things at most, and probably less than that most days. But we're going to give it a shot and see where it lands. So to open this whole thing, I wanted to just discuss and give my thoughts on uh, some folks have been putting down band assisted chin ups, and they're not totally putting them down, but some are also just throwing them away completely in some aspects. And my thoughts are what they're saying isn't totally wrong. Number one, I get where they're coming from, and the the information they're providing is very accurate. But there's two parts to it that I want to folks to reconsider before they just completely abandon them whatsoever. Number one, especially as a coach, you want your clients to have success and for them to feel success now without trying to swindle them into thinking that they're stronger than they are. Band assisted chin-ups can help some clients, some athletes realize that they are stronger than they think, and that there will be a day where body weight chin up, a body weight pull up, if you're going that direction, it doesn't matter really. This applies to both. If they're if they have that as a goal in their head, doing a band assisted chin up is uh, going to give them that feeling of success, like, oh, I can do this. This is something that's possible. And with that itself is like gigantic. I can't, I think it's underestimated how huge that is for a client to know that, all right, this is doable. I can do this. My shoulders aren't going to explode, and my body's not going to completely fail me. My hands aren't going to fall off, anything like that. So I think that's one thing that I want folks to understand and to take in when they hear this. Like, yes, the things that some of the folks that are trying to throw away band assisted chin ups, there we go. Uh, they're not considering that aspect, at least not to me. So that's one thing. And the second thing is sometimes, because a couple alternates have been provided, like doing what I call seated chin ups, or yeah, inverted row negatives, or anything like that. And that can be a huge problem when it comes to equipment requirements in any sort of small group. Take for example our place at Cyber Street. It's gonna change, but right now we only have one squat rack, and if I've got one person using the squat rack for squats, and on the back end I've got one person occupying that because they're trying to do uh, like standing chin up negatives or seated chin up negatives, whatever you call it. Basically holding on to a barbell and trying to slowly lower yourself down with your using your feet as assistance. It is great. It will work. But now I've just completely occupied two spaces in that squat rack. Nobody else can really do anything else. Um, and there's also a risk of, one person running into the other. Now, if I've got a couple people that want to do, and because you could still do assisted chin ups for volume if you wanted to as well. I think that's one thing that most the folks that are trying to get rid of them have admitted to, that they're good for that. So if you have one person looking for assisted chin ups, you have one person looking for the negative chin ups, and you have one person looking for front squats. Now, I can try and plan around that myself in terms of the programming, but at the same time, if that I can't control what day people land on, and maybe someday I need to have some forethought with it, and I'll take that responsibility. But there are some things out of my control, so I'm just throwing this. I'm just playing a little devil's advocate here and throwing the wrench into the works, as it were. And the other thing being, um, if you've got, you know, a group of athletes, let's say, in the situation where you maybe have two squat racks or three, you're going to have one group. You're going to have people that are doing chin-ups, are trying to do these, these lowering of chin-ups, and then you're going to have one group that's trying to do front squats with the same bar. And I can tell you that's going to get clustered real fast because I've seen it once already, and I had to make a lot of changes to get rid of that because I was trying to do seated chin-ups with the same thing on the same day as front squats, and you know, there's three racks that I could use at the high school gym, and even that gets cluttered. So, uh, yeah, there's a issue of one, making the client feel successful and that they can do that. So that's one reason I would say keep them. And two, the equipment that you have available, and you know, the spacing. And if you're talking about a single person doing this at home, or you're talking about a group doing it with access to multiple racks, it's fine. What they're after is fine and totally makes sense. Go for it. I'm still personally going to be using assisted chin-ups and band assisted chin-ups for my folks. And honestly, I don't think either answer is wrong. I think we just need to understand that there's nuance always. And I think these folks do, but I just want others that are listening to um, people such as coaches, such as, to understand it's always nuanced. It's not everyone, it's not no one, it's somewhere in the middle. So, yeah. So this is what I've got for this little spiel today. I'll try and get back to it sometime in the next couple of weeks, and maybe I'll shoot for once a month for now. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Other than that, have a good day, all.